A shock to the system. The unraveling of a friendship. The year 2025 will be remembered as the moment the world's longest undefended border suddenly felt a lot less friendly. A storm of economic conflict erupted between the United States and Canada, two nations long defined by deep integration and shared history. It all began on February 1, 2025. President Donald Trump announced sweeping tariffs on Canadian goods. The move was sudden and severe. 25% tariffs on most imports, a 10% tax targeted Canadian energy products, an economic declaration of war that sent shockwaves through Ottawa and across Canada. Canada refused to buckle. Mark Carney, sworn in March 9, 2025, pledged resistance. In a show of defiance, Canada retaliated, initially targeting $30 billion of U.S. goods. As the dispute spiraled, that figure ballooned to $155 billion within weeks. The escalating economic hostilities created a deep chill in a relationship once taken for granted. For Canada, the realization was stark. Reliance on its southern neighbor had become a vulnerability. Jobs were threatened in key sectors like auto, steel, lumber. The conflict reached a fever pitch over a seemingly minor issue: a television ad. An Ontario anti-tariff ad featured former U.S. President Ronald Reagan criticizing tariffs. President Trump called the ad fraudulent and abruptly terminated all trade negotiations with Canada. This unprecedented move underscored the volatility of the situation. For Canadian leaders, it was a clear signal the old rules of diplomacy no longer applied. The American partnership, once the bedrock of Canadian policy, was now a source of profound uncertainty and risk. It was time for Canada to look elsewhere. Prime Minister Carney publicly set a bold new goal: to double Canada's non-US exports over the next decade. The strategy was clear: diversify away from the volatile American market, forge stronger ties with other global players. This wasn't just about economics, it was about national sovereignty and security. Every aspect of the Canada-US relationship was under review, including long-standing commitments in national defense. The ground was shifting, and with it, the very foundations of North American security. The stakes had changed dramatically. Section 2. The fighter jet dilemma. An alliance in question. For years, the cornerstone of Canada's future air defense strategy was the American F-35 Lightning II. The plan was to acquire a fleet of 88 of these advanced, fifth-generation stealth fighters from U.S. defense giant Lockheed Martin. This commitment was seen as a logical step, reinforcing decades of close military cooperation within NORAD NATO. The F-35 was meant to be the aircraft that would carry the Royal Canadian Air Force for the next generation, ensuring interoperability with its most important ally. However, as the trade war with the United States intensified, this once solid commitment began to look less like a strategic partnership and more like a risky dependency. The F-35 program was already facing scrutiny at home long before the trade dispute. A 2024 report from Canada's Auditor General had delivered some sobering news. The total acquisition cost for the 88 jets had soared to an estimated CAD $27.7 billion, a staggering 46% increase from the estimates just 2 years prior. This ballooning price tag sparked a heated public and political debate about the affordability and wisdom of the purchase. With the Canadian economy now under pressure from U.S. tariffs, the prospect of pouring billions into an American defense program became increasingly difficult to justify. The escalating costs, combined with the souring political climate, created a perfect storm of doubt. This growing unease in Ottawa opened the door for alternatives. Suddenly, a new player entered the conversation, offering a different path forward. On April 6, 2025, Mikael Johansson, the CEO of Swedish defense manufacturer Saab, confirmed active negotiations with the Canadian government. The subject of these talks was the JAS 39 Gripen E, a highly capable and modern fourth-generation fighter jet. Saab's pitch was tailored to address Canada's newfound anxieties, emphasizing full national sovereignty over the aircraft's operations maintenance crucial software upgrades, a stark contrast to the restrictive U.S. model for the F-35. The news that Canada was formally exploring the Gripen sent a powerful message. It was a clear signal that Ottawa was no longer willing to have its defense procurement dictated by a relationship that had turned adversarial. Defense Minister Bill Blair publicly stated that the government was reassessing whether the F-35 contract truly remained the best option for the nation. This wasn't just about finding a more affordable fighter jet, it was a strategic pivot. Canada was leveraging its largest military procurement in decades to assert its independence and explore a future where its security wasn't solely reliant on the goodwill of its increasingly unpredictable American neighbor. The game had changed. Well, the choices before Ottawa were suddenly very different. Section 1. The Swedish Challenger. A smart fighter for a smart nation. Enter the JAS 39 Gripen E, the Swedish Challenger poised to disrupt North America's biggest defense procurement in a generation. At its core, the Gripen is a modern, single-engine, multi-role fighter aircraft designed for the 21st century battlespace. But to describe it merely in technical terms is to miss the point of its appeal. Saab has marketed the Gripen not just as a piece of hardware, but as a complete philosophy of air power. It is designed to be a smart fighter, technologically advanced, affordable to buy, economical to fly, and simple to maintain. This approach contrasts sharply with the F-35's reputation, a platform so complex and expensive that it strains the budgets and logistical chains of even the wealthiest nations. The Gripen E boasts capabilities that make it a formidable competitor. It is equipped with an advanced active electronically scanned array radar, a sophisticated electronic warfare suite, and the ability to carry a wide array of modern weaponry, including long-range air-to-air missiles like the Meteor. Its data link and sensor fusion capabilities allow it to network seamlessly with other assets in the air and on the ground, creating a comprehensive picture of the battlefield. While it does not possess the all-aspect stealth of the F-35, it incorporates a low-observable design and a powerful electronic warfare system designed to jam and deceive enemy radars, offering a different, but still highly effective approach to survivability. One of the Gripen's most lauded features is its remarkably low operational and lifecycle cost. Saab claims the Gripen E has the lowest cost per flight hour of any modern Western fighter.
This
is achieved through fuel-efficient engine design, a focus on reliability, and a maintenance philosophy that emphasizes speed and simplicity. For a country like Canada, with its vast territory and the need to generate a high number of flight hours for pilot training and sovereignty patrols, this is a compelling economic argument. The promise is a larger, more active Air Force for the same or even less money than a smaller fleet of F-35s would cost to operate over the long term. This combination of advanced capability and economic pragmatism formed the core of Saab's pitch. The Gripen was presented as the sensible choice for a pragmatic nation. It offered a way for the Royal Canadian Air Force to modernize and meet its commitments without being financially crippled by the purchase. It was a fighter jet that could perform the mission effectively while respecting the constraints of a taxpayer-funded defense budget. In the context of the F-35's spiraling costs and the economic pressure from the U.S. trade war, the Gripen's message of affordable, sustainable power was perfectly timed, resonating strongly with the Canadian government desperately seeking a smarter path forward. Section 1. A fork in the road. Canada stands at a monumental strategic crossroads, where the choice of a new fighter jet has become a decision about the nation's very identity and its place in the 21st century world. The path ahead diverges into three distinct possibilities.
And harsh
Cost,
weather conditions.
Sovereignty,
These features are
alliance politics.
First option, one of the most sensitive
stay the course, purchase
the
88 American F-35s. This would be the path of least resistance for military interoperability, reaffirming the historic defense partnership with the United States. But in the wake of the 2025 trade war, this would mean deepened dependency on an unpredictable ally, sacrificing national autonomy for the sake of alliance cohesion, and pouring billions into the economy of a nation that that has proven itself a hostile economic actor.
Upgrades,
Second option, a complete pivot to the Swedish Gripen.
F-35's core
This path represents a bold declaration of Canadian
limiting the
independence.
buyer's autonomy.
Opting for the Gripen would grant Ottawa sovereign control of its air force.
The Pentagon
It would
worries that
foster a
Canada
strategic
prioritizes
industrial
sovereignty and
partnership
cost
with
over
Sweden
full integration
and
with
deliver
U.S.
a
systems.
highly capable
Other
fighter
allies
at
may
a
follow the
fraction of
same
the
path. A
F-35's
Canadian Gripen
life
deal
cycle
would be a
cost.
powerful signal
This
that
aligns with
alternatives
the
to
Carney
American
government's
fighters are not
mandate
only
to
viable
diversify
but
away
politically
from the United
acceptable.
States.
Asterisk.
The
political
trade-off would be
pressure inside the
navigating
United States
perceived
is
risks
intense.
of breaking
The
from the
F-35
American
program
military
supports thousands of
industrial
jobs
complex.
and represents a
It would
major
require
pillar of
Canada
American
to
defense
forge a new
exports.
path on
Losing Canada as a
interoperability
customer would be
and
seen
accept
as
a
a
future
symbolic
where its
setback,
primary air
especially
defense
given the
asset
close
is
military
not shared with
relationship
its next door
between the two
neighbor.
countries.
A
Some
symbolic
U.S.
and
lawmakers have
practical
warned that
departure
allies
from
benefiting
decades of
from
defense
American
policy.
security guarantees
The
should
third,
align their
more
major
complex
defense purchases
scenario
with
involves
U.S.
a mixed
platforms.
fleet
Asterisk
approach.
in Canada.
Canada could buy a
Reactions are
smaller
mixed.
number of
Some officials view
F-35s to
U.S.
maintain
pressure as
a
an
core
attempt to
capability
interfere
for
with a
high-end
sovereign
coalition
decision.
operations.
They argue that
While
Canada should choose
supplementing
the
the
aircraft
fleet
that
with
best
more
fits its
Gripens
unique
for
needs,
domestic
not one
sovereignty
selected to
patrols and
satisfy
day-to-day
Washington.
duties.
Others caution that
Balancing
damaging
alliance
relations with the United
commitments
States could
and
have
the
serious
desire for
consequences for
cost-effectiveness
intelligence
and
sharing,
operational
defense
flexibility.
cooperation,
Yet
and
it
broader
risks
diplomatic
creating the
ties.
worst of both.
Asterisk. The
Immense
Arctic factor
logistical
adds
and training
urgency to the
burdens
debate.
operating two different
As global
fighter
competition
fleets.
increases,
Such a
in
decision
the Arctic,
could be a
both the
costly,
U.S. and Canada
complicated
see the region
half-measure,
as strategically
satisfying
critical.
no one.
Washington argues that
Ultimately,
operating
the
the
decision
same fighter
facing
platform
Ottawa
would
is not
simplify
merely
joint patrols
technical,
and rapid
but deeply
response missions.
philosophical.
Supporters of the
It
Gripen
is a
counter that the
referendum on
jet's
risk.
cold weather performance
Is
and
the
quick
greater
turnaround
risk
make it ideally
tethering
suited
Canada's
for Arctic
national
defense?
security to a
Asterisk
volatile
Saab
and
has been careful
overbearing
to frame its offer as
superpower,
cooperative
or
rather
charting
than
a more
confrontational.
independent course
Company
alongside
emphasizes
other
that Gripen
like-minded
is
NATO
NATO-compatible
powers?
and already
The
operates alongside
F-35
U.S.
represents
aircraft
the
in joint
familiar
exercises.
comfort of the status
Saab
quo,
insists that choosing
increasingly
Gripen would not
uncomfortable
weaken
and constraining.
Canada's alliance
The
commitments,
Gripen
but
represents
rather
the
strengthen its
uncertainty of a
independent
new
capabilities.
direction, greater
Asterisk.
freedom,
Behind
self-reliance,
closed doors,
control over
negotiations
Canada's own
continue while
destiny.
the pressure builds.
The
Canada
choice
faces a
made will
defining
echo for
choice,
decades,
fully aligned with the
defining
U.S.-led
the future of the
F-35
Royal
ecosystem,
Canadian Air
or
Force
pursue a more
and the
independent
nation
path with
it
the Gripen.
protects.
Washington's warning suggests that
Section
this
2.
decision carries consequences
The
far
verdict.
beyond aircraft specifications.
Weighing the evidence,
Asterisk,
the conclusion
whatever.
becomes
Canada
clear.
decides.
While the
impact will be
F-35
global.
offers
Allies are watching
unparalleled
closely
stealth
to see
and
whether
deep
one of
integration with the
America's
U.S.
closest
military,
partners can
its
successfully
crippling
push back
costs,
against US
restrictive
defense
operational
expectations.
model, the
This moment
toxic
may
political
redefine how much
climate
freedom
from which it
allies truly
emerges,
have in
make it
choosing
a
their military
strategically
future,
unsound
and whether the
choice for the
balance of
Canada
power
of
in the global fighter jet market
2025.
is about to
The
change.
economic warfare waged by the United States has irrevocably broken the trust required for such a deep, decades-long partnership. To proceed with the F-35 would be to reward aggression and accept a subordinate role, ignoring the stark lessons of the trade war. The path of least resistance is, in this case, the path of greatest vulnerability. The verdict, therefore, leans decisively in favor of Sweden. A full commitment to the Gripen E/F offers Canada a trifecta of strategic advantages that the F-35 simply cannot match. First, it provides a faster and more certain path to regaining control over its national defense. The promise of full sovereignty over maintenance and upgrades insulates the Royal Canadian Air Force from the political whims of Washington, ensuring the fleet can be adapted to meet Canadian needs on a Canadian timeline. It is the only option that guarantees true technological independence. This autonomy, once a niche concern, has become a paramount strategic imperative in the current geopolitical environment, making the Gripen the superior choice for securing Canada's long-term security interests. Second, the Gripen delivers far greater and more secure industrial benefits. The Saab proposal is not just about buying jets. It is about building a collaborative aerospace ecosystem with a reliable partner, guaranteed job creation, technology transfer integration into a global supply chain, offer a concrete plan to strengthen Canada's economy and foster domestic innovation. This stands in stark contrast to the uncertain and subordinate role offered to Canadian industry within the F-35 program. In an era where economic security is national security, the Gripen deal represents a direct investment in Canada's future prosperity, turning a defense expenditure into a powerful engine for economic growth and diversification. Finally, choosing the Gripen is a powerful political statement. It is a declaration that Canada will not be bullied, and that it is charting a new, more independent course on the world stage. It reduces a critical dependency on a strained and unreliable American relationship while building new bridges with partners in Europe and beyond. While some may argue about the marginal technical differences between the two jets, the bigger picture reveals a clearer truth. The Gripen option gives Canada what it needs most right now: faster control, better industrial returns. A decisive step away from a toxic dependency. In the contest between the Gripen and the F-35, the real winner would be Canada itself.